Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Mastermind Agent, and you're in the right place if you're here for the Referral Mastermind Call, where we're going to be talking about how real estate agents can get more referrals, more repeat referrals from their friends, family, and past clients. That's the concept. That's what we walked through today on this weekly call that we do on these sessions. Get your questions ready for what you would like us to address as a mastermind. The beauty of the mastermind is we come together and we talk as a group, and we're able to think of solutions that we may not have thought of individually or even with one other person. When we bring a group of people together, we can have a lot of different dynamics, a lot of different experiences, and get to some faster, better answers. So that's the beauty of the mastermind and why we put these together, so we can all share with one another. And in that vein, when you think of something you'd like to say, please unmute yourself and contribute, help each other out. That's what we're here to do. Now I can hear you. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. What's your name?
Tabitha.
Did you say Tabitha?
Yes.
Hey, Tabitha. Nice to meet you.
You too.
What can I help
I'm in the middle.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm 1 second. Here.
Got the kiddos going there.
Yeah, it's a half a day and I almost forgot about her today, and yeah.
Well, that's why we're all here, right? It's to build up for our kids.
Right. I think it was something on here that asked about the database. I'm still working on my database to try to get it automated and to try to, get it more organized. Because at this moment, it's not. I'm selling, and I just feel once all these sales go through, I'm gonna be kind of stuck out because I don't have systems in place. So if I can get systems in place, that will help me out greatly.
Sure. Now it looks to me like you're driving, so pay attention to the road. We'll talk, but I want you to make sure
definitely.
we don't.
So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to listen to you. I'm dropping my daughter off. She's about 4 minutes. So I picked her up from school, dropping her off to daycare, and then I'll be able to mingle. Yeah. So I'll just listen out for a few minutes.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and get started. So you're asking about the database, and there's a couple different things there. I have a lot of questions for you as to where you are to make sure that we can help out. You answer if you can. It sounds to me like you have a database. You're thinking about how to add to it, grow it, and organize it. And then the second part of that, of course, is to market to it to generate some business from it. So tell me, how many people have you brought together in the database?
It's over 100. It should be more than that. I'm just like this year, I've just pretty much started to try to get that function started. So it's well over 100. I just have not put them all in. I have about 100 or so in there now, but just haven't pretty much organized it and
Well, let's talk about that. So that's good. So you got a list of 100. So first of all, congratulations for putting the list together. That is, believe it or not, it's unusual. A lot of people haven't done it. They talk about it, but they don't actually put the list together. So putting the list together is step one. That's awesome. The next thing would be to go through the list and start to organize it. And first of all, to make sure that you have everybody in there, because most people know a lot more people than they think. When they've done studies, the average person knows about 150 to 250 people in their social world. And then you add to that any past clients you have. So it's pretty easy for most folks when they actually, well, I wouldn't say easy, but it's very achievable for most people to get up to a list of 200 to 300 And you don't actually want it to get much beyond that. Now, 100 is a good starting spot, but one of the things to do is to brainstorm ways that you can add to that. So first of all, you got your family. That's usually the biggest group that you can get started with. And, mom and dad and brothers and sisters. And then you start to kind of go what I call going out on the circles. So you go out to cousins and aunts and uncles, and then you start to extend it further as far as your own age group. And then you can go up or down in the age groups. And you'll be surprised at how many people come out of that. If you happen to be working where you grew up and you live, there's probably a lot of folks, a lot of family that you can connect into. The next thing is to start thinking about friends, of course, and then these social groups and friends are the same thing. They're kind of like circles that grow out. And you got your very close friends, and then you got your next level, and then you got more of acquaintances and people you just kind of know, and it kind of expand out there. Another group that people forget are old work environments. So like where you used to work before you started in the real estate, that actually is usually pretty fruitful. People you knew and connected with there. Other ones are hobbies. What do you do for fun? Other things are like church. If you know a lot of people in church, you start to think about all the connections you have. And then I saw you've got some kiddos. When you got kids and when they're doing school activities, you've got other parents you're meeting in the school. If they're in any kind of sports activities or social activities, you're going to meet other parents there in those social arenas, and you want to bring them in, and you start to open up that sphere. And pretty soon, this database starts to grow. And so that's on the SOI side, the sphere of influence. And then past clients, you want to make sure that you're contacting all your past clients and you're not missing out on any of those. That's kind of another thing for agents who've been around for a long time. Make sure they're digging into those databases and pulling out all those past clients that are available to them. Sometimes we lose track of that. You may have it in a paper record. You need to make it digital. Sometimes you don't know where it's at, so you can start with your broker, current broker or a former broker, although they may not be as open to helping you. But you got title companies if you're doing your closings there like we do here, or mortgage companies if you're doing a lot of your closings through the same mortgage company. So you got a lot of resources that you can tap into to help start developing that PCSOI, that database itself. The reason to do that is that what's going to happen once you get a good solid database and we start to organize this thing, and then, by the way, grade it would be the next step. But the end result, and why it's kind of interesting, is you're going to get to the point where if you do this right, if you do it just sort of haphazardly, actually, but you have a database where you're trying, you probably can get about 5% of the people in the database are repeating and referring every year. So your example of 100 should be resulting in at least 5 closings per year that are repeat and referral. When you get a program in place that's actually effective in your marketing, your strategy, and how to reach out and touch folks and make sure they know you're in business, that can jump up to, say, 10% pretty easily. And now 10% of your database, now you're in your 100-person group, you're talking about 10 closings per year. The thing to remember is it's year after year after year. It's not the same group of people, although the same referrers are typically referring, but the repeats are usually happening with different groups, different people throughout the group. But that's why it's a consistent source of leads. And then the best of the best, they're getting up to 20% of their list repeating and referring. So on your list of 100, we're now talking about 20 closings per year, year after year after year. Now that's the best of the best. You have a really great system in place. You're really executing well. But that's something to shoot for and something that's kind of exciting for folks. And then, of course, if we could grow your database from where it's at 100 to 150 or 200, all of a sudden those numbers grow as well. If you went from 100 to 200, we're talking about a doubling of your potentials on that. So let's say if you get up to 200 as an example, your 5, 10, 20, your 5 is 10 closings a year, 5%. Your 10% would be 20 closings a year. And if you got really good at it, it's 40 closings a year. For most agents, you get up to those numbers, you're having a really great year, and you're making some good income. And it's easy. It's the most profitable. It's very repeatable. Tell me what you're thinking. Give me some feedback.
So just so you know about me, I have been in real estate since 2014. I've had my last 2 years have been the most successful. I am not quite totally full-time because I still run our construction business and driving school, but real estate is where I'm wanting to focus more on. I do know that my business is lacking that automated component of systems, reaching out to my past clients. Last year I don't know what happened to the Zoom.
I can still hear you. I just can't see you.
Oh, okay. So last year, I closed 5.1 million, and that was my best year, still working as a pretty much dual agent. This year, I'm already almost at 6 million this year. But again, it's only because of my sphere, I would say. It's not particularly because of systems, and that's what I'm needing to pretty much get into.
Cool.
Making things, yeah.
I like it. Thank you for giving me the background. A couple more questions.
Mm-hmm.
When you did your 5 and 6 million, how many units is that in your market?
So last year was 32. This
32
year
cells?
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, 32 transactions, yes. And this year, I think I'm around 20, and I'm a little over 5 million this year already.
That is fantastic. So what's your average sales price then? What are you typically selling?
Average sales price is about $220 now, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all adding up. That all makes sense.
Okay.
Very good. And you're saying you're getting most of your business currently by repeat and referral?
Correct.
And your database is only 100 people?
Correct. And that's from past clients. I haven't even completed a database on like family, friends, acquaintances.
Okay. So that's your PC, that's your past clients.
Right.
Great. So you have another database you can open up now of your sphere, which you're probably getting business from, but it's less formal, right? You haven't formally been stepping out to those people and working it. Think about if you did it formally. I mean, you're doing really well. That's a really great year you've had the last couple of years, especially considering you're doing it part-time, right?
Right.
You're running the driving school and the construction company and everything, right? You're doing these other things. And so that is fantastic. Is a lot of business coming out of the construction business? A lot of these resells?
Not. I'm actually giving. Well, my husband's the contractor, so I'm actually giving him my clients.
Right. Okay.
Who can't find homes, but yeah, it's not really coming from his side. Yeah.
Because a lot of people would be curious about that. They'd be wondering if that's how the business is coming in. But you're really getting this from your past clients and sphere, from your social network, right? From the people that you know. Okay. And so when you talk about putting systems in place, what does that mean to you?
That means following up with clients or sharing with them helpful information about like the market, sending them birth date, like cards for the birthday, a $5 gift card, or just letting them know, of recent sales that may have occurred in their area, or something automated to where I'm touching my past clients and even clients that I've spoken to that may not quite be ready to buy or sell, I would still want to, get with them because it's difficult manually trying to call everybody.
How are you doing it now? What are you doing now with before you go into a database? You said you're doing it manually. Are you keeping on a piece of paper? Are you keeping some kind of notes in your phone? What are you doing?
So every person I talk to, I save their name and I put notes in the phone as to what we talked about. So when I save their name, I'll put, like if it's a buyer, for instance, I'll save their name as buyer. And then I put in the notes, how much income, where the credit score is, like that. So I know the next time I talk to them, what we talked about, on our last conversation. So I'm pretty much jotting the notes in the, the contact on the phone. Yeah.
That's great. You basically have a database inside your phone. You're using the contact system in your phone, depending on which phone brand it is, but you're using that as your CRM. And that works, as you're noticing. The problem is, as it grows, it's hard to organize it, right?
Correct.
It's hard to put it into groups. It's hard to create an outbound campaign that goes out to multiple people, especially if you want to do an automated campaign that's going out and clicking along. So I'm assuming from what you're saying, you're not doing an automated program where you're sending a monthly newsletter or you're making a monthly call or any of these kind of basic things. Wow. And look at how much business you're already doing. Congratulations. Imagine how you could ramp this thing up if you put some of these systems in place, and it'll free up your time a little bit so you can spend more face time with the people that are the quality folks that you want. I should say that are ready to actually move forward. I guess that's a better way to say it. They're further along in the qualification process.
Right.
So that's actually exciting. You've got a really great challenge. You've got a nice base business to build on. So the question then is, do you have a CRM?
No, not a functional, no.
All right. Well, the best places to start there with a CRM are to go talk to your broker to find out if there's a free one that they already have that you can access. That's usually the best place to start, right? Because a lot of brokers, depending on who you're working with, they may already either have a CRM you can use or have one that you can do cheaply, right? They may have some kind of access to it. If you don't, there are inexpensive ones to get started with, and then there's all kinds of bells and whistles, and it really just depends on what you want to do with it beyond the PCSOI, what I call PCSOI, past clients, a sphere of influence, or repeat and referral. If you're just looking for the basics there's things like Lion Desk, Wise Agent. They're pretty inexpensive, maybe $20-$30 a month. What they allow you to do is kind of organize your information, get it all in one place, sift and sort your leads, and then also to create some campaigns. Let's talk about that part. You need to put together an annual marketing plan. Okay. So your annual marketing plan is what you're going to do to reach out to these people throughout the year. So there's consistency going on. You got to touch these folks a minimum of once a month. And then some of the more developed campaigns are up to 3 times a month. I know that sounds like a lot, but once you create a these kind of work together. Once you have a CRM that allows you to automate a whole bunch of this, combined with different mediums that you're going out to touch people, it's not annoying to them or to you. You know, your nightmare scenario is they forget about you. Okay, it's not going to happen with your close friends, but it will happen with the people that are out on those outer rings of your circle. And so you want to make sure you're staying in front of them and giving them those heads up. So you mentioned a couple of great ideas like contacting them on their birthday or contacting them on their home anniversary. You can do that through automated systems that are in these CRMs. You can also do it So you can have, for the people in the tight end of the circle, the closest part, the inner circle, you can have that where your system just notifies you the day before or the day of to contact them, say on their birthday or their home anniversary. Okay, those are examples that can be done. And then you got to figure out a way to stay in touch with them throughout the course of the year and map that out and then have it put into this CRM, into this system, so it's happening and not getting lost in the shuffle while you're working with clients and running these other two businesses. Congratulations, you're quite the juggler.
Thank you.
I just picture you now like this, Tabitha. You're doing the juggle.
Exactly. That's why I need the system.
I mean, running 200 businesses and closing 20, 25 transactions a year, that's pretty spectacular. You have the potential to be a real big, super solo agent. If you decide to run a team, you could do all that. I mean, you obviously have the skills to put this thing together. You've proven yourself in the school of hard knocks out there in the real world, right? And so now we just got to put some system behind you. System is the correct word that you used. You were throwing me a little bit at the beginning, but now I completely understand what you're saying. You need that system support to make sure that you have this plan, and then the system's going to help you execute it. So they're kind of two different things, right? The plan is you have to map that out, what's going to be all the contacts. And then the CRM is the system that's going to help you execute that and keep it all organized and make it run like a top. A lot of it can be automated in the background as well, which is nice. Also, a lot of it is one-to-many communication, right? Right now, you have to call up one person at a time. Well, you can communicate one-to-many where you set up, say, a postcard that goes out to people. Well, you spend a couple hours and it goes out to 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. It doesn't matter because you're going to have a printer or someone else help you. You do the same thing with digital, with email. You can do the same thing with a social post. It just kind of depends on how you want to structure it. So give me some more feedback. What are you thinking? What sounds good to you?
Well, I definitely, so our broker, we use Command. But what I did, I pulled the contacts out of Command and just kind of put them in a spreadsheet just to get a start. So that's where I am now to basically get the contacts and all organized into a spreadsheet so that whatever system or company that I choose to do the automations, they can already have that to start with. I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing to get a start.
But you can organize it either in your CRM, which is the way it's preferable, but you can also do it in a spreadsheet. A lot of the top agents use a spreadsheet to get it organized and even to run the whole thing, which I got to tell you, I like spreadsheets. I use them all my whole career, but it seems a little silly to me to do that when you got a CRM, unless you're not comfortable with the CRM. But like Monica Angelis, I don't know if you were at the Agent Success Summit. She sold 162 homes last year as a solo agent, and she does it all out of spreadsheet. She doesn't like CRMs. So what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of ways to do this, but the more conventional way is a CRM, just so you know, because you can set up all these automated things. Whereas if you're in a spreadsheet, it's going to be kind of a combination of you working on it and then you having to execute something. So for instance, with Monica, she sends out a postcard once a quarter. Okay. So she's got her spreadsheet and she keeps all her notes in there, but that's also her mailing list. So she just takes that spreadsheet, sends it to her printer. They print the card and send it out for her, right? She kept the database was the spreadsheet. Does that make sense? And then then if she's going to make her phone call, she'll read through there. See, the challenge with that is if you want like a notification system, usually your CRM is the thing it'll be working in the background and say, hey, Tabitha, be sure to call Sammy Joe because they've got a birthday coming up. Right.
Right.
And so The spreadsheet's not going to do that, but you could put all the birth dates in a column and then just every day sort it and see who comes to the top. That's another way to do it. It's just it's not going to tell you. You're going to have to take a little action. It is faster than scrolling your phone, though. Right?
Yeah.
And I love spreadsheet to get organized and to build out a database for sure, because to me, my mind just works well if I look at all the columns and the rows.
Right.
So it's not a bad place to start. I think that your next step, I know you're busy, but your next couple things that I would recommend if I were I guess I am kind of consulting you right now, is number one, I would build out that list more.
Okay.
You've got the past clients. I would now build out the list, whether you do it in the spreadsheet, do it in the CRM, do it on a pad of paper, doesn't matter. Just build out the list of all your SOI. Okay, so the SOI is the sphere of influence. You got the past clients, which by the way is awesome. Now do the SOI. You're going to formalize what you've already been doing, but when you formalize it'll be bigger than you think. And you kind of want to know that number so you know what you're moving towards as far as your final end result. But that's going to be the SOI. Just make sure they pass what I call the SOI test. Here's the simple test. When you're trying to decide whether someone goes on this list or not, here's the question you ask. If I met them in the grocery store, we were walking down the aisle, opposite ends, and we're about to bump into each other. Okay, you get the picture? You're walking in the grocery store, you're walking one way, they were coming the other. You see them, they see you. Do you recognize each other? And can you strike up a conversation? If you can say yes to that, then they belong on your list. If you can't say yes to that, they do not belong on the list. So people always ask, well, what about like an internet lead that I have? Or what about an open house sign or sign call or something that happened? And if they can't pass that test, they don't belong on this list. They belong on a different list, right? They belong on a lead list of some kind, but not on this SOI, the PCSOI. It's special. Does that help? Yeah, I'd build that out because I have a funny feeling you've got a pretty good sphere, a pretty good list. It's just not formalized. And if you formalize it and then you start putting out a consistent system, that tied in with you obviously must have a strong personality and friendliness and demeanor that you connect with all these people that you've closed 20 plus transactions. Either that or you're a hard driver and you're smashing people over the head. I don't get that impression. So,
yeah. It's the area, and I only work in pretty much one parish.
Okay, one area town then. I like that. So are you in Louisiana when you say parish? Yes, I'm in
Tangipahoa Parish.
And that's like a county for the rest of the country, I think. A parish is like a county. It's bigger than a city.
Yes, it includes about probably about 15 cities. And
that's awesome.
We probably have a population of about 100, maybe 115,000 people in the parish.
That's a good group. That's a good size. I know a lot of people have done extremely well amping up in that size of a community. So I like that. And that's obviously working for you. So the first thing would be to build out the SOI. So now you have a big PCSOI list. The next thing would be to build out your annual marketing plan. So you figure out what kind of touches you're going to do with these folks to stay in front of them. The key is to stay in front of people because you don't know what day they're going to wake up and say, it's time to move, right? Because that's not really what people happen, right? Something in their life happens. They just found out they're pregnant. They just found out that they just got proposed to. They're going to get married. Or the other side, they just found out they're going to get a divorce. Or they just found out someone passed away. Or something happens that changes in their life and they're like, I got to go get a house. I got to sell a house. I got to do so. I got to move. A job promotion. These kind of things are what are happening in people's lives that are random. We don't know when they're going to happen. And so that's why you have to kind of stay in front of them and make sure that you are top of mind with them all the time. NAR did this great study that proves this a few years back. I use it because it just really solidifies the challenge that we have. They went out and talked to buyers and sellers who worked with a real estate agent in the prior year. Okay, they worked with a realtor in the prior year, and they surveyed them, and they asked them all these different questions, which were all very interesting. The most important ones to me, though, were they said, well, did you have a good transaction? And most of them said yes. The next question they said is, would you hire your real estate agent again? 84% said yes. 84%. That's the vast majority. That's almost everybody.
Right.
So we are doing a really good job of helping people when we get in the trenches with them and help them buy and sell homes. 84% said, yep, I'd hire them again.
Yeah.
The follow-up question was, well, what was the name of your agent? 11%. Only 11% could answer the question and give a name. That's so sad. That means that people forget, right? And when we think about it in our life, we realize it's so true. Like, who sold you the food that you're eating right now? Okay, I don't know.
Right.
Who helped you buy your car that you're driving? I can't remember. Who did your hair 5 years ago? I don't know. Maybe you know, but probably not. These are hard questions when you start to tax somebody's memory for something, especially if it's something you don't do often. And so the job is for us to stay in front of them, to make it fun, make it enjoyable, give them quality information, but to stay top of mind so that everybody has a list in their head of the top 3 blank. Okay, like the top 3 drinks I like to drink, the top 3 people I like to be around, the top 3 cars I like to drive, the top 3 real estate agents that I can think of. If somebody says, who's a real estate agent? They go, oh, well, that's number 1, number 2, number 3. Most of them only have 1, by the way, but in your head, you usually have no more than 3 on the list. You got to make sure you're in the list and you're over there at the top, if at all possible, at least in the top 3, or you won't be remembered, right?
Right.
And so that's why these systems help, is you're going to create an annual marketing plan where you're in front of them. One of the reasons that events, I'm going to give you a quick idea here, events, contests, giveaways are really awesome, is because it creates a fun way to stay in front of people. Okay, so it's hard sometimes to call people up and say, hey, Tabitha, it's Mike. How you doing? Do you know anybody thinking about buying and selling a home in the next 30 days? You know, just need some help. And they'll help you the first time, but when you call them up the second month, they go, hey, Tabitha, it's Mike. I'm just calling you up to see if you know anybody. And they're like, well, I don't know. And you call them up the third month, and they're like, I'm going to stop answering those phone calls, right? Because it gets a little taxing. So that's why you're trying to think of ways to kind of come in underneath, get a little easier communication, make it fun, enjoyable. That's why events have been so popular with the top agents. When I started almost 3 decades ago, there were an event. It was like one event at the end of the year. That's what some of the top people were doing, and that was it. Now I talk to top people, they're trying to do an event every month, at least every quarter. They want to get something fun and easy, a quick way to contact people, because it's really easy to say to somebody, hey, Tabitha, it's Mike. I'm doing this Pie Day giveaway next week, and I want you to come by and get a free pie. What do you think? You want to come get a pie? That's fun, especially when it's around Thanksgiving. Sure. That's fun.
You just gave me an event idea.
There you go. That's the most popular event ever for all top agents, is the Pie Day giveaway. Do it around Thanksgiving. You do it the week before, a couple days before Thanksgiving. It's easy, it's fun, it's cheap, it's exciting. You can lead up to it. You can market for like 30, 60 days before it to get people in the swing of it. So again, a great reason to reach out and talk to people. Whether they accept and get a pie or not, you touch them, they like you, they like you more because you offered them something. You get reciprocity going, okay, which is I give you something, you want to give me something back. So that's why you get a ton of referrals after these things and a ton of repeats, because people are like, wow, Tabitha just gave me that pie. I got to give her something.
Right.
They don't, they not say that, but they do.
That's why I need that CRM. I just had an event for Father's Day and several fathers came out. We took pictures, for fathers, because we forget about the fathers sometimes. So
Right.
I had an event. I hired a photographer to take images of photographers. So I'm sorry, photographer to take images of fathers with their kids. So I got their names, emails, everything. But if I just had the system to keep up with them, I still have it. I just have to put it in and get the systems rolling. So that's an event doesn't even, do any justice if you don't have a system in place to keep in touch with those contacts.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah. Although you'll create the goodwill, it's just hard to follow up with everybody, right? It's hard to do the most. And that's where all the gold is in real estate, is in the follow-up. Right? There's a lot of different ways to say it. The money is in the follow-up. The gold is in the follow-up. But it's just the relationship is in the follow-up. As we already talked about in that NAR study, if you're not keeping up with people, they will forget you. They got a life. They're going to go do things. I like your idea of the Father's Day event. See, that's a perfect example of how you can do an event that may not be typical, or people may not think about it as an event. And it doesn't have to be some huge gala. That's the old days. We had to do a big giant party. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something fun. It can be online. There are a lot of these contests and events are online now. It's just that you're making that touch and you're keeping your face and your name in front of it. Always mark it with your face, because that's what people recognize as you individually. So make sure your face is on all the marketing or the promotion or the requests. The other nice thing about events is, you remember, the power is in the invitation. That's why you do it. The event is actually secondary, because more people will be connected through the invitation than the actual event, because not everybody's going to the event. In fact, probably 1 in 10 or 2 in 10 are going to actually go do the event. That's a good event, but you talked to all 10. You invited all 10. All of them want to work forward with you and are feeling good that you invited them into your inner circle. So what you can do is, at a minimum, just go through and create 4 events throughout the course of the year, 1 a quarter. And now you got the event, plus you got the 30 to 60 days in front of it that you're inviting. And in the invites, you can invite 3 to 4 times. That's what these top people are doing. And you say, well, that sounds crazy. Well, you send out a postcard saying, hey, save the date. We're going to be doing this cool event. RSVP this way to let me know if you want to do it, right? So 1 is mail. Then you can send out an email a couple weeks later. It basically says the same thing, okay? Then for the people that are really strong on your list, you could text them or make a personal phone call and say, hey, are you going to do this event that we're doing, this Father's Day event or the Pi Day giveaway event? You get the idea, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, so now it sounds a little fun, doesn't it, to build out this annual marketing plan? You get in the bigger picture of what to do there. So you can do a traditional way to do it is either a mail out or an email of a newsletter. Okay. Now remember, you got to keep in mind what the purpose of all this is to keep your name and face in front of people. And then secondarily is to give them a way to get back in touch with you. So you give them an offer for a free list of homes or free market analysis, although that's kind of like secondary and a small little piece of it, but it should be in there as a way for them to come back and get in touch with you. So always have some kind of little offer and call to action to have them take the next step when you're sending out marketing, either, as I said, through mail or through email or posting it on a social media site, etc. Have a way for them to come back through either directly through phone or come back through email or go to a site and fill out a form, but somehow to have a mechanism so they can come back to you.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep. Sounds good.
Starting to feel good about this, build this out a little bit.
I do. I do.
Then the personal ones that are really awesome that, again, I like that you brought up the top agents love to do are the home anniversary ones. The home anniversary specifically, because that's your relationship with your past client, right? That's something the only reason that date's important is to the home buyer or the home seller and to you. That's what connects you professionally, right? That's what the professional connection. And it's the proof that you did your job, that you succeeded at doing what you said you were going to do. And that's the memory peg you want in their head. So the home anniversary is awesome, and it's a fun call. You know, you call up, you say, hey, Johnny Jones, this is Tabitha. I just want to touch base with you. Did you know that 8 years ago, you and I worked together and we helped you buy that home? How's the home doing? How's the family doing? Yeah, how's things going? And then you just start a conversation. It's just a conversation starter. Maybe they talk about the house, maybe they don't. But you'll be shocked how many times you'll do that conversation and people go, I'm glad you called. I was just thinking we need to blank, right? We need to move. Or maybe it's something else. We need to get a roof. And do you have anybody that you recommend? Absolutely. Let me get you connected with my roofer. Anything you can do to show you're the expert and you're the helpful person. And then they're going to start referring their friends. They're going to be repeating. It's a great one. The other one is a birthday. Who calls you on your birthday?
I don't get many calls.
Exactly. Very few people do. Who does? Mom, dad, brother, sister, maybe an aunt or an uncle, maybe a close cousin, you know, somebody, maybe a really good close friend, someone who's really close in on your inner circle. That's who's contacting you on your birthday. And so that's why that's a really good date, is mainly because it's so personal to people, right? So it's the same reason why you always use someone's first name, right? I say Tabitha, right? I don't say, hey, you, because our name has a lot of specialness to us as well. We've been called our whole life. Same with that birthday. We had it our whole life. Every single year, something happens on that day, right? Especially as a kid. You have the birthday candle or the cake or the presents, and something special happened. What you want to get into their inner circle so they think about you on the inner circle. And that's where more repeat and referrals happen. It's kind of fun because you get to be friends and you get to be close and family, and you get to add this element of it's building a business at the same time. Right? You obviously know that because you got this 20 plus closings. You must have been doing that all along. It's really formalizing what you're doing and making sure that these reach outs aren't just happening to 3 people in your group, they're happening to all 100, right? So, well, I'm excited for you. I hope you're getting excited from all this.
I am.
So to wrap it all up, your recommendation here, build out your list more. Okay. That's the step one. Because I'm telling you, you got to start because you're going to get so excited with how many people you're going to actually see. And remember my numbers at 5, 10, 20%. Then you're going to realize how big of a potential you have out of that list. And remember, it's consistent, repetitive business too. It's the easiest business, most profitable business. It's way better than all these other sources. And believe me, I've chased all the shiny objects myself, and I've done all the hard way of building a business. This is the best way. That's why I keep talking about it so much. That's what the top agents are doing. The best of the best all do this. It's the proven path. Anyway, build that list out. And the next thing is to build out then your marketing plan of what you want to do over the course of the year. And then you got to put into it, then the marketing plan is really the calendar of events, right? Now we're going to go in and put that into a system, either a CRM. A little harder to put it in our spreadsheet. We're going to have to create a way to work in and out of that spreadsheet, or you find a CRM that you're very comfortable working in, right? I've heard a lot of pros and cons about Command. It's really up to you. I'm not going to give a critique on it other than to say I have heard people say they aren't comfortable with it, although I've heard other people say it works great. It doesn't matter what those people say. All that matters is what you say. What's easy for Tabitha to do? So you got to get a system you're comfortable running with. Look at a couple of the CRMs we mentioned. Just look for real estate agent CRMs. There's a bajillion out there. Or figure out how to take your spreadsheet, but you are going to have to take some actions on it, rotating through it probably weekly at least to sift and sort to make sure you're getting out to everybody.
Right. Okay.
And then you're going to just explode. Then when you and I are going to talk in a year, you're going to be closing 50. Maybe 70. I don't know. What do you think?
Right. That's what I would like to do. Everything else is stressful to me. I love this. I love real estate. So
you're natural, aren't you?
If I could, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Is there anything else? We're coming up on the end of our time. Is there anything else that I could help you with today to help you get rolling down this path?
You've given me information that I needed to hear.
Cool. Well, Tabitha, all I ask is that you touch base with me and let me know how it goes. Keep me updated.
Okay.
I send out emails. Just reply to any of those emails. They'll come back to me. Just give me an update. And don't you have to wait a year. Give me an update. Say, hey, Mike, I just got my list done. And here's how many people I found on my SOI. I couldn't believe there was an extra 50 or there was an extra 100, whatever it is. Tell me that. And then tell me, hey, Mike, I just got my plan put together. You can either send it to me or not, but let me know that it's done. Hey, I just found a great CRM that I love. Let me know. I love hearing these stories. I'm a story collector. So let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions, be sure to reach out as well.
I surely will.
Tabitha, nice to meet you today. Thank you for joining us on the Mastermind
Nice to meet you
Call.
as well. Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us today on the Referral Mastermind Call. We had a wonderful conversation here with Tabitha. You're welcome to jump in on one of these. Are kind of like a hot seat thing. If you like the hot seats, cool, let us know and we'll get you in on the next one. We'll kind of dissect your business and see what can help to move you forward strategically. And as a group, we can all learn together. All right, so thank you all very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.